Yes.
So what we're saying is more kinetic energy would mean more speed. And that goes both ways. So more kinetic energy, more speed. Or if you have more speed, you would have more kinetic energy, right? So let's see if that makes some sense. What's our first energy situation at A?
All gravitational.
All gravitational.
Yep, I agree with that.
Okay? It's not moving. There's no friction, so we're not going to generate any thermal energy. There's no elastic, no springs or rubber bands or anything. All right? What about B?
Half and half.
And then it'd be like a quarter.
Gravitational, kinetic.
So here's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
Okay? I love where you guys are at. It's a combination of those two.
I'll listen.
We're going to find out later. We're going to find out later. It turns out there's a linear relationship between height and gravitational energy. So since this is, let's say it's 1/4 of the way up, we're going to give it 1/4 gravitational. Okay? Does that make sense? Now, I'm giving that to you without any justification, but let's just use it for now. Cool? What's the rest then? It's kinetic, right?
Yes.
Now, what about this one? This one's halfway up. What does that tell you then?
It's half gravitation. No, wait.
Yep.
Oh, I'm right. Kind
You
of.
are.
It'd be half again.
Where is it?
Would that be all kinetic?
Yes, Mr. Peabody. You've nailed it. It's like, look, you were all the way down onto the very ground, right? Your height is 0. There's no gravitational energy. What does it have to be? So, if we look at these, let's rank the kinetic energy. Which one has the most?
D.
D, then?
I would say. B, then C, and then A.
So, we have the same situation, is the most kinetic energy gives you the most speed.
Yeah.
dBCA, dBCA. So I like the way that works there. Okay, I like our understanding of that in terms of taking the speed and the kinetic energy and making them into the same kind of understanding. Now, here's what we're going to do now. We're going to take the same roller coaster, and we're going to draw the same high. I'll just go do it underneath. We're going to do the same highs, this time with friction. Okay, and I will give you a hint. We haven't started rolling yet, so no thermal energy in the first one. The farther you roll, the more thermal energy you would have generated. Okay? All right, try to draw the pies right now. I'm sweating from opening my window. What do you think about that? I'm sweating from opening the window.
Yeah, D is still moving. The exact same roller coaster, just with friction. I'm just giving you the answer you wanted. See, have you looked in the mirror? Have you ever talked to yourself?
No.
That is a lot of sass. This person.
Oh, it's fresh in here now. Draw the new pies, please.
They can, of course. I don't care.
Oh, no.
You're very good at the drawings. You're very good. Your physics drawings are excellent.
Okay, you see them.
Are you a senior?
Yeah.
What are you doing next year?
sure, probably going to business.
Excellent. It's cool. Are you gonna go away, or are you gonna stay local?
Deciding either going to state or Wayne.
Oh, love Wayne State. So I went to Wayne State. I got a scholarship to Wayne State, so I went where the money was, because
Yeah.
that's what changed my whole life, was the fact that I got done with college and didn't have any debt.
So it's good.
I was like, this is amazing. Yes, you know what I decided to do?
You got a full?
I joined the Peace Corps. Yeah, I got it. I joined the Peace Corps. And I went, I lived in Africa for a couple years.
Cool.
It was amazing. The thing I liked most about Wayne State was that I lived at home for some of the time, which was good for me because I was super immature. Like looking back now, I'm like, oh God, there's just no way. But then I lived down there. But I just really grew up at Wayne State because it doesn't have like the same kind of rigid structures as some other universities do, where it's like do this, do this, do this, do this. They're like, listen, do what you want, just figure it out. I was like, oh God, I'm not mature enough to do this. But I did. And then living by myself, or living with a roommate, and like having to like feed yourself was like a whole new like ball game for me. Because I was like, well, when am I gonna eat? What am I gonna eat? And then you just grow up. That's what I loved about Wayne State, was like, it really forced you to figure it out on your own. And invaluable for that. So I really loved it. And it sucked back then. It's so cool now. There's no way I would graduate if I went there now. Like, so we lived on campus, or just off campus, and there's like 2 breweries now that are like around the corner. I'm like, oh, I never would have graduated. Like there was nothing back in the early 90s, there was nothing there. Now I'm like, there's just no way. There's just literally no way, yeah.
I just want to bring my progress because I'm feeling a little incompetent.
My brother got a full ride
Oh,
and
yeah.
he still didn't go.
Where are you going?
He got offered a full ride,
Going to
just didn't
school.
go.
Seriously?
He went to Michigan.
I think, I know your
Oh,
brother.
really?
I had him in class,
I
didn't
have
I?
to get my doctorate.
I think so. So it's
I'm
Looks like you.
completely in debt.
Blonde hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Really good. The only person I think I
Mr. Cosmos had him, I know, because Mr. Cosmos mentioned him a lot.
You know, I think I had a couple bad years there when my kids were really young. It's very hard to teach when you have a newborn, because you don't sleep when you have a
I
baby.
think they're
Yeah,
also,
right.
like,
So
trying to do
I was like sleep
I wouldn't know,
deprived.
but I'm
I know,
sure.
I was sleep deprived for years.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't have a super clear memory of a couple years there.
I have a picture of him if you want.
I know what he looks like, because he looks like you.
I
Here we
can pull it
go.
out, yeah.
All right, here we go, you ready?
Talking over you.
So,
Very funny. Mhm. Well, I mean, they had better, like medical programs.
still starts with total gravitational. I'm huge on board with that. As it rolls from A to B, here's the thing. The gravitational energy thing doesn't change, because the gravitational energy is determined solely by the height. So when you look at it at B, it has the same height, therefore it's going to have the same amount of gravitational energy, right? But did it roll some? It did, right? So let's say it rolled and some thermal energy was generated, and I'm going to say an eighth. Now, the fraction itself we don't really know how much, but I'm going to say an eighth, and we'll see what happens to it. Okay? Ugh,
I didn't make it small.
what are you doing, Don? I was thinking the same thing. What's the rest then?
Kinetic.
Okay. It goes up to C. Again, the gravitational energy doesn't change because that's dependent upon the height. If we say it's rolled twice as far, what do you think might be true about the amount of thermal energy generated?
It doubled.
I think that we're going to see later on that there's a linear relationship between the distance it rolls. But here's what I like about that, is the whole thing we've been training on all year is just reasoning. Like, what do you think might happen if you double the distance? You say, it may double. I think that's a very good way to say that. There's a linear relationship between those, okay? And then the rest would be kinetic stuff. All right, and what about the last one?
Half and half.
A third thermal, maybe? I think I have a third of thermal.
So, yeah, well, this is 3/8. So 1/8, 2/8, 3/8
Okay.
thermal.
I thought it was 1/3.
And then,
Kinetic energy.
now, here's the thing. Let's compare these two. These are the same. Which one has more kinetic energy? Top one or bottom one?
Top one.
Top one has more kinetic energy. What does that imply about the speed then?
It's greater.
More kinetic energy is more speed. So this one has more speed than this one. What about this one? More kinetic energy than this one, more speed. This one more kinetic energy than this one, more speed, right?
Yes, yes.
Because in your head, if there's friction, is that going to slow it down or speed it up? It's going to slow it down. So even if you get to the end, there's less kinetic energy because some of the friction made it into thermal energy. Yeah.
So if there's no friction, would it never stop because
Yes.
it only,
Yeah, I didn't even need your reasoning. I know your reasoning is 100%, so yes. That's exactly what it means. Ooh. I forgot to tell this is kind of simple.
Oh, announcements?
What's that?
Announcements?
Oh, sure.
You're welcome. What did you say? You said? I mean, that's something. It was like 10 seconds ago. It was 10 seconds
Please
ago.
stand for the pledge.
Interact Club and more, stay tuned.
Good morning, North. I'm Maren here with Annalise, and this is your Northman News. The Interact Club has had a great year helping people out. They have made 3,500 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, 800 Valentine cards, and 1,400 letters to veterans, and collected hundreds of sheets and towels. If you're interested in helping out, please see Ms. Davenport.
Here is a new segment called 20 Seconds of Fame, where we highlight students in school.
Oh, that's cool.
Hi, my name's Cam Schaefer, and I play varsity baseball here at Grosse Pointe North. The expectations for the year is to just win games, have some fun, but the ultimate goal is to play at Michigan State on June 19th and bring home a state championship, and that's what we plan on doing.
Seniors that are interested in the trades, the MAT2 program is hosting a virtual open house April 28th at 7 p.m. You will learn about the program and hear from the companies that are actually hiring. Bottom line, this program is free and you will earn an associate's degree while working and earning full wages. Please email Ms. Davenport for the link to join or with any additional questions about this amazing program.
Next Friday, April 23rd, Diversity Club invites you to join them in honoring the National Day of Silence. The National Day of Silence is dedicated to LGBTQ teens who have been silenced or suppressed as a result of their identity. On this day, Diversity Club and anyone else who would like to participate will be paying tribute to those individuals by choosing to stay silent in solidarity. Students staying silent for the day will have red X's on their masks and info cards to inform others as to why they are silent. If you would like to participate, please reach out to a member of Diversity Club or Ms. Klein for more information. Diversity Club hopes that all of you will participate in this day of solidarity.
And in sports, the girls track team defeated Chippewa Valley Wednesday 82-45. The Norsemen won 11 out of 17 events. Individual double winners were Ava Hopko in the 100 hurdles and high jump, Tira Cherry in the shot and discus, and Annalisa Lynch in 1600 and 800 meter runs. Other firsts went to Gia Derrick in the 400 meter dash and Sophia Dragic in the 3200 meter run. The Norsemen also won 3 out of 4 relays and swept 400, 1600, and 3200 meter events.
Yikes.
Excellent work, North Track.
And today we would like to wish a very happy birthday to Tamir Bissett, Sophia Dragic, William Mallory, and Franklin Spina.
That's all from us, North. Have a great day.
I'm gonna have a great day. All right, that's cool. I mean, all my days are great. What happened? All right, now, here's a question. This is a real question. Here's our roller coaster. Thank you. It's very considerate. Perfect. What are you giggling about? Chicken nuggets? Man, don't eat that stuff. That stuff's gonna kill you. All right, so in a real roller coaster, one of the things that we notice is that there's the first hill, right? Which hill is the tallest in a roller coaster?
A, or the top
The
one?
biggest.
The first one.
The first one is always the biggest. Okay? So envision a roller coaster that looks like this. Okay? So you got your first hill here. And what if your second hill was just as high?
You want to back up?
Yeah.
Why is this problematic? Right? Check with your neighbor, see if your neighbor knows. Why can't the second hill be just as tall as the first hill? You have no neighbors.
No neighbors.
Neighbors. Jason, do you have a neighbor? Did you ask him? What did he say?
I wish I could talk. I should have talked to you actually. No.
Jason, say it louder.
There's not going to be enough speed to get to the second ramp,
Why not?
because we already used, it's like a ball thing, when you drop a ball, it's not going to reach its maximum height.
Did you hear what Jason said? This is a great analogy here. Peabody, what are you to say?
I was just gonna say because of gravity and friction, the friction of the wheels and then the gravity.
So here's what's cool about this. If we look at the pie charts, let's say that our cart is here and it's got just enough speed to get over the hill, the first one. Is that cool? So we got all gravitational except for a tiny bit of kinetic. So we got a tiny bit of kinetic, and the rest is gravitational, right? If there were no friction, could it make it over that hill?
Yep.
Absolutely. Because you would have the same pie here. When it got up here, it would have just the same amount of speed because the pie would look the same. Right? But what happens if, in a real roller coaster situation, what do you have? You have friction, go ahead. Yeah, you have friction, so what's also being created?
Thermal energy.
Thermal energy. And what happens here is that because you gain some thermal energy from here to here, and what that means is that this car only has a certain amount of gravitational energy, which means it can only get to, like, say, here. And the speed is 0, which means which way would it go? It would go back. Have you ever been at Cedar Point?
Yes.
Those of you who go to Cedar Point.
Yes, I have.
You ever been to Cedar Point where they shoot that top thrill dragster?
Yeah.
And it goes, and most of the time, 90% of the time it goes up, turns over, and then goes down the other side. You've seen this, right?
Yes.
What happens when they send it and it doesn't have enough energy?
It comes back down.
Well,
Have you seen it?
well, I watched a video
I
about
was-
it actually, about why it goes back. It's because, when the track is too cold and the air is too warm, the track condenses and creates more friction on the wheels, so then it doesn't get enough speed.
So this is so interesting, right? So it starts off with all this speed, right? But there's so much friction that there's thermal energy generated there, which means that it's not going to have enough energy to get over, and then what's it do? It comes
I
back.
had that problem one time. I was next in line and then it came back down. And I was stuck in there in the line for like 90 minutes.
You're like, oh.
I was the next
You just go
person.
by yourself, like if you want to go on the right, you just like, oh, I'm going by myself. You're gonna cut the line. It's really nice. I've done that so many times.
That's cool.
Yeah,
So,
that line is so long.
'Cause you're,
anyway, I want you to have a sense of like the workings of a roller coaster here. So you could be able to say like at a certain moment, this is what the energy pie chart looks like. Does that seem reasonable? Okay. And it's so, I mean, this is very cool in terms of like understanding how this works. The first hill has to be the highest because in the real world there's lots of friction. And so we're going to lose some thermal energy along the way, which means in order to get over, the next hill has to be shorter. Right? Yeah. I think it's a super cool thing. All right, well, have a nice weekend. All right, I'll see you guys next week.